A functional old-time wheelbarrow is today's project on the Appalachian Heritage Woodshop.
The Appalachian Heritage Woodshop is brought to you by Christian Internet Services, common sense internet marketing and web design. Our internet marketing commissions are based on results. Robinson and McElwee, thinking business, practicing law. Waterlock's unique tung oil and resin blend stains, sealers, and finishes. The go-to finish for wood enthusiasts since 1910.
The Appalachian area is comprised of 13 eastern states covering 205,000 square miles of rugged, mountainous terrain. It stretches from New York to Mississippi, with West Virginia being the only state totally encased in the area. When this region was first settled, the immigrants had to travel over the Appalachian mountain range with only what they could carry or haul by wagons. They would make furniture and other wooden items that were necessary and functional.
Wheelbarrows are indispensable on the Appalachian farm. Loads of feed go to the barn, loads of manure go out of the barn, loads of firewood go to the house, and loads of brush go away from the house. There is no handier tool than the trusty wheelbarrow.
This is Jerill Vance with the Appalachian Heritage Woodshop. Today I'm on the front porch of the Jerill store at Heritage Farm Museum and Village in Wayne County, West Virginia. And I'm with Major Sims, the tour guide here.
Hey, Jerill.
How you doing today,
Great.
Major? Today I was wanting to talk about this wheelbarrow here.
Absolutely.
I noticed this one is one that is referred to as a convertible. It has the sides and the back that can come off of it.
Oh, so that's why they have the little catches.
Yes, it is, and the stakes down
I
here.
see.
Yeah, this would have been used where they want to haul a lot of bulk items, like if they're cleaning out a barn or something, they would put the sides on it for that. Mm-hmm. But if they wanted to haul something that didn't require the sides, they would take it off, like firewood or something, or coal or whatever, and they would haul
Well, it really helps me here at the country store, because if I'm going to load something from somewhere or take something out that someone's bought, it saves me a lot of time.
Yeah, these were used on the homestead as well as in the businesses. Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of metal on this one, so they would have had to required the service of a blacksmith, or they would have had to done their own metal work to build a wheelbarrow like this.
Yeah, it's good old Appalachian ingenuity.
Yes, it is, yeah. The earlier type of wheelbarrow had a bottom that was very slightly contoured, and it had staves much like a barrel, and no sides, and then a wheel on it. And I kind of think that's where the name derived from, a wheelbarrow.
Well, you know, it's really handy. It's like having a pocket on a shirt.
Good analogy, yes it is. It allowed them to carry a lot of items without a lot of force. Yeah. Let's go back to the Appalachian Heritage Woodshop, and I'll show you how to build a wheelbarrow. It doesn't matter if you're using hand tools or machinery in your shop. You need to know the safe way to operate your equipment. Make certain you have the proper safety equipment, and most importantly, use your PPE. Be safe and enjoy your shop time. Here's a very old wheelbarrow we got at an antique store. If you notice, it was made with barrel staves. My intent is to take the hardware off of this and rebuild this. All right, I'm going to start taking this hardware off and see what I got to do here. Looks like it was just put on there with nails. It's been repaired numerous times. They've put nails in it and bent the nails over. Okay, now I've dimensioned some red oak, which I'm going to use for the frame of the wheelbarrow. The front has a 10-degree splay on it, and the back has a 10-degree splay. So I've angled the blade at 10 degrees and have my splitter in there, and I'm going to rip this at 10 degrees. Okay, now that I've done a bevel cut, now I need to square cut these to the correct length, and I'm here at the miter saw to do that. Now that I've got the framework cut to the right dimension and the right angle, I'm ready to do the joinery for the corners. This will be a lap joint, but because the corner is cut at a 10 degree, it'll be a compound angle lap joint. So I'm going to do those at the bandsaw. So I've got them marked and I'm ready to cut it out. Got the mating board marked, and I'm ready to cut that. And since that's a compound angle, I'm going to use a handsaw. So, want to be sure to cut on the waist side of the line. Turn it over. Now that I've got the lap joints cut, you can see how they fit together. So now I'm ready to scallop the sides. So I've got a couple clamps set up and my springboard. And I mark the middle of the wheelbarrow. So now I'm ready to mark this. Now I'll cut this on the bandsaw and then use this as a pattern to cut the other side. Okay, now I'm ready to cut my contour. Now that I've got the sides cut and the corners joined, you can see I've got a little bit sticking up right here because of the 10-degree angle. So I need to mark that and cut that off. And I'm going to do that over at the bandsaw. Just got finished ripping this on the bandsaw. Now I'm going to take it to the joiner and join it and then run it through the planer. And then I'll show you how to use a draw knife to shape the handle for the wheelbarrow. Got the handle dimensioned the way I want it. So now I have to shape the ends to make it comfortable on the hands. Now historically they would have used a shaving horse, but I don't have one, so I'm going to use this vise, end vise. And of course the draw knife. A draw knife is a very versatile tool. It's easy to use. I'm going to start with this little one to show you how easy it works. You can take as much or as little as you like, and by angling the blade, that determines your depth of cut, and by angling it this way you can get a real fine shaving. So it really doesn't take very long to get this rounded over. It's like my grandpa and my dad used to say, a dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife. It requires more pressure, and you're more apt to get cut that way. So you really need to have some good sharp tools. Other than that, it just takes a little bit of practice. It's a very shallow learning curve to learn to draw a knife. You'll see every time you hit a knot where the grain changes, you'll feel the difference. And you just do it until you get a comfortable grip. I think this one's good enough, and now a little bit of a file and a little bit of sanding, and this will be ready. Okay, now that I've got the frame together, I've screwed it together in the corners. So now you can see what it looks like. I've got the handles laid up here, marked where they go, and I've already marked where the supports go for the back and the front. So let me show you how I cut these dados. We'll do that over at the table saw. To cut the dados in my board, I've got the dado blade set up at the proper height. I'm using my miter gauge, and I'll do a few multiple passes. While I've got the frame apart, I want to go ahead and mark and cut the dado for the handles. And because these are angled, it's a lot easier just to use a small router. So I'm going to mark the edges first with a knife. It'll make it easier to clean up with a chisel later. And I got my little laminate trimmer. I've only got it set for about 1/4 inch deep, which is deep enough. While I've got the framework apart, I'm going to round over the inside corner just a little bit, and rather than get the router out and change bits, it's a lot easier just to use a rasp. If you've never used a rasp, this is a good opportunity to use one. So there it is, rounded over. So now I just need to do all the rest of them the same way. Now I'm ready to glue the framework together. I'm just using some PVA glue. Now you need to remember, glue is a lubricant before it is an adhesive. And by that I mean when you put it together, it will try to slide around. So make certain that the screw goes into the hole that you already had for it. Then you can drive it in the rest of the way and it'll pull it in tight. Okay, now I'm ready to cut the slats that'll be in the bottom of the wheelbarrow. And for that I'm using some sycamore, and I'm going to cut it here at the miter saw. Now I want to drill a hole so I can mount the front and back support boards, and I'm going to do that here at the drill press. While I'm here at the drill press, I'm going to go ahead and drill the holes for the slats in the bottom of the wheelbarrow. The front and the back of the wheelbarrow is splayed out at a 10-degree angle, so I need to bevel rip the first board. So I've got the blade set at 10 degrees and my splitter in there. I put the fence on the left side so that the board will not be pinched between the blade and the fence. Okay, so now I'm ready to install the supports. This is the front, so this would be the front supports. I've already got glue in there, and now it's just a matter of screwing it in. Now I'm ready to install the front. I've got the bottom bevel ripped, and I've got a little bit of glue on the supports, and now it's just a matter of centering it up and putting the screws into it. Now I'm ready to do the back. Now that I've got the front and the back installed, now I'm ready to install the bottom slats, and I've already drilled the holes. Put just a little bit of glue down here, and then I'm just going to feel to center it up. Now I'm going to do first one on the back. And now I just need to fill in the rest of these. And when I get down to the very center, I'll cut it to fit. Now I've ripped the last two to the correct width, and now I'm ready to install them. So just put a little bit of glue down. I've already drilled the holes for the screws. Okay, now I need to contour the first board on the side to the bottom. But before I do that, I need to cut the angles for the front and back. Now, if you remember, these were splayed out at 10 degrees. So you would think I would be setting the miter saw at 10 degrees, but that's not the case. This is going down, so this angle is compounded. So I calculated that to be 20 degrees. So I'll miter the ends of the board 20 degrees. Then I'll take a compass or divider and scribe the bottom and cut it on a bandsaw. And when I do, it'll fit like that. So now let me do the one for the other side. I just picked up the hardware from the blacksmith. Some of it's new and some of it is the original hardware from the old wheelbarrow. It's been refurbished. So now I'm ready to reassemble the wheelbarrow. So what I need to do is take my screws, line them up. It doesn't take much to hold the handles on because they are under the wheelbarrow. So gravity holds them in place. The screw just keeps it from moving around. Okay, now I'm going to put the axle assembly on. These get held in place with a 1/4 inch lag bolt. Okay, then the axle. Set of washers, which are spacers. The wheel. There's the wheel. Now I need to put the legs on it. Now, as you can see, I numbered the legs when I put them on the first time. Because these are handmade, the holes may not be identical. So this way I get the same leg put back in the same place. Okay, now I want to turn it over so I can get to the sides easier. Now again, the stake pockets are numbered because they are custom made. There's the way that fits. So now I'm going to turn it over and get the other side. And again, these have a number on it because they were handmade. So no two are identical. So I want it to be just like it was when I put it on the first time to fit it before I cleaned up the hardware and painted it. Now put the side on it. There you have the wheelbarrow. Here's the convertible wheelbarrow. As you can see, the sides come off and on. This was made out of sycamore, wormy sycamore. If you notice, I used an old iron wheel on the front. The handles were shaped with a draw knife. It is very large and it is very heavy, but it will hold a lot of material. I hope you enjoyed this build at the Appalachian Heritage Woodshop as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you're interested in any information or plans on any of the items featured on the Appalachian Heritage Woodshop, just check out our website, AppalachianHeritageWoodshop.com. Remember, be proud of your Appalachian heritage.